Rising, everybody, as always, joining us on this Saturday morning. If you don't know, every Saturday morning on the We Outside Livecast is officially Put the Guns Down, We Outside. We will get Dooney back here in a quick second, but just as a reminder, every Saturday morning, we are having this conversation to make sure that we are talking about being against gun violence and addressing the mental health awareness, which is the underlying issue to that, and many different things that go on in this world that certainly need a change as well. So, with that said, one thing I want to remind everybody is you can go stream Put the Guns Down, a World Epidemic, brought to us by Terry C. Carney Sr., writer, creator, director, producer of this film and documentary. And just as a reminder, people, this is a movement. This is not a movie that we're talking about here. We are all for the Second Amendment right, but we are against gun violence and all of the trauma and collateral damage that comes with it. And as every Saturday morning, we have a very special guest with us. Today is really no different. And this individual, Kokane, who is joining us this morning, is a cast member and very much involved in this movement. For anybody that might not be familiar with Kokane, Kokane is, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the most featured artist in hip hop history at this point. Born in the Bronx, later moved out with his family to Pomona. And the Guns people, Bronx, the birthplace of hip hop. So we've got a legend from the West Coast in the building. And we are excited. We are privileged to have you on here. Started your career, obviously, 1989 with Ruthless Records. Have written for many other individuals in addition to yourself within your individual career. So, again, it is a privilege. It is an honor. And at this time, we would like to just turn over the microphone to you. That way you can let the people know in your own words who you are and what you're about, King.
Well, first of all, thank you, gentlemen, for having me on the platform. I'm known as the legendary Kokane. Actually started my career in 1984. Was originally going to sign through my uncle, Willie Hutch. Did a demo with him. But didn't work out because of creative differences. Then the following year, in 1988, I had a chance to link in with Bobcat, DJ Bobcat, LL Cool J's cousin and DJ. But that didn't work out. So the following year, when my cousin, Cole 187 from the group Above the Law, formed the group Above the Law, then they asked me to come up join the roster in 1989. I did a 3-song demo in Pomona, California, me and my cousin, Cole 187. And I first signed a production deal with a cat by the name of Larry Goodman Laylaw, rest in peace. He had a production company called Law House Productions. So through that, they sent the demo to Eazy-E, and it didn't take long for me to get signed. So I actually got put on in 1989, Ruthless Records, part of the original Ruthless Records.
Now, I appreciate you sharing those words with us and letting people know, the overall history of Kokane. Put the Guns Down. How did you get involved with the movement? I certainly know your connection to, of course, Suave. Of course, in some way, shape, or form, that directly ties into, of course, Big T, aka Gangsta T, as some people might know him, and of course, as we know him here, Terry C. Carney Sr., who created this movement and Put the Guns Down. How did you get involved, into the movement here?
Well, I was at the studio and I see those gentlemen, Terry and of course my Sandbox, VP Churchill, and they asked me, would I be interested in joining this very, very serious docuseries? I said no question, because I come from Pomona, California. It's a small town, but it has a big name. It's been murder capital for many moons, and it's just time. The same streets that we tore up is the same streets we're cleaning up. I think it's a privilege to be able to persevere through those dark times and those suppressions, which I grew up in a gangbang environment. And it wasn't always easy growing up in the gangbang environment with the drugs and guns and just basically, fighting for colors. You know what I mean? And it's a beauty that music has been able to bring people together, because that's what the power of music do. When we first got with Ruthless Records, it was unheard of for blacks to mess with Chicano, but Easy E was like one of the first ones on that type of level to mess with Brownside, Toker, and Danger, rest in peace at the time. And it just told us, that, primarily the people of suppression are the black and brown. Unfortunately, a majority of the suffering is. And it's ironic that the power of music and culture is bringing people together to be able to combat genocide, to be able to combat police violence, or just violence in general. I think a lot of stuff has to do with being economically deprived. Also, not only when it comes to money, it also comes to land, it also comes to education. So, all of us to get together, whatever ethnicity you are, you have a heart, you have a soul, you have a spirit. There's all kind of our people that are suffering. I don't care what color you are, they're suffering. And we want to be able to raise our voice on the platforms from the ghettos that we came from to now come back and help combat some of this stuff. And you can't do it all, but at least we, Brother Terry and the Ice T and the whole VP Churchill and the whole crew, at least they understand that, hey, it really has to be a movement as opposed to just a conversation. Because the conversation comes and it goes. It's like it's like being on Sunday. You go to church on Sunday, but then you kill somebody else on Monday. And we want to be able to all come together like we're doing now to be able to inspire those youngsters, to be able to raise the conversation. But most importantly, the most powerful statement is that this is truly a movement, because it's time. It's on us. We can't point the fingers no more. It's on us to pick ourselves up by our bootstraps, and that's what we're doing right now. So I'm very much happy to be a part of the project. Put the guns down.
No, I appreciate that breakdown, and I agree with you. And Dooney, I'm going to turn it over to you here in a quick second as well to see what your thoughts are, bro. But I'm with you with respect to what you said. It's there's so many words that it could be given to the things that you're talking about, as far as coming from certain backgrounds and different ethnicities or socioeconomic classes or religious classes. Like, some people want to call it systematic. I believe that it's systematic, whether you want to give it systematic racism, systematic socioeconomic classes, socio religious. I'm a firm believer that whoever is the ones ultimately pulling the strings, whatever their agenda is, we'll never, necessarily know the true understanding of what their agenda is. And, it's almost like it's a divide and conquer, right? If you can get groups of people to, for lack of a better way to say it, take each other out, well, then that's less that the people, the puppet masters, if you will, pulling the strings behind the scenes. That's less work that they got to do ultimately. And I grew up in a place by the name of Bridgeport, Connecticut. So when you said, where you grew up, being the murder capital of the world, that's what it was in the 90s in Bridgeport, Connecticut as well. I saw my first dead body at 7 years old, trying to go to basketball practice in second grade. And we at a church, nonetheless, Golden Hill Church, right on Golden Hill Ave in Bridgeport, Connecticut. And we couldn't go on that Tuesday night because somebody just got dropped, due to gun violence as well. So I'm in firm agreement with you. And we got to, we need to continue to come together as a human race, because that's what we are at the end of the day as well. So I just wanted to add to what you were saying there from my experiences and my thoughts. Dooney, I'm gonna unmute you just because we have some feedback going with you. But what do you want to add to that, Dooney?
Hey,
if you're still there. There you go. There you go.
Yes, sir. Woo, 39 years.
So what are your thoughts on? It's crazy. So we were just talking there as far as just like the systematic oppression that different classes of people, religious peoples, colors of people, just how the overall agenda which we might not know the underlying issue as to why it's going on, but just the divide and conquering of groups of individuals, whether it's broken down by race or by socio-economic class or by religious class or any other label or class that somebody or a group of people is given. What are your thoughts on what myself and Kokane were speaking about there?
Man, that shit started way back in the slavery days, bro, when they put light skinned against dark skinned, the haves and the have nots, the master, the bootlicker, you know what I mean? It goes way back in history till we were taught to hate each other, right? We were taught to hate each other, and they taught us well. And like we said, it take us to love us out of this, bro. Uh, we ain't sleep no more. We ain't sleep no more. We woke, man. And a lot of more of our people's waking up, bro. And that's why it's important for hip hop, that music of hip hop, to keep that original message that we used to have, and that's for the upliftment and the betterment of our people, right? Um, and yeah, I wanted to say, okay, I listened to your music years ago. I was in YA when you came out. I was in, you know what I'm talking about? Like that time, all those artists that time y'all had a message, bro.
Right.
Y'all talked about what we went through without glorifying it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It wasn't a glorified thing. It was like, this is what we are, and and we need to get up out of this. You know what I mean? Understanding our state. Now it's like we need that back again, bro. We lost that.
Right.
We lost that. So we can't get rid of the G rappers, bro, because all the OGs is the one that's keeping the real in the hip hop.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If without y'all, it's lost, bro.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, we have became elders, and it's a certain pecking order to where we was raised, to where you had to consult the elders, especially those that led by example, not a sample. And we out here, showing the youngsters and even showing our families that, hey, not only we can still have that ability to survive, but more so to articulate the wisdom, from the lengthiness of being in this brutal game called the music industry. I can share some experiences now. I'm at the point to where, I done reached that elder status. So now kids from all over the planet right now are asking questions and different other things. And that's what we're here to provide. We're here to provide certain solutions to these children to where they can apply it to their own game with the innovative approach that they make up. Now, not everybody's going to listen to it because all sperm cells don't get to the egg. That's what in nature tells you.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times,
Right.
we get discouraged because us as OGs might can't reach a wider audience, or, just reach a certain amount of people. But all we want to do is just reach one person, one sperm cell get to the egg. And then that means we're following our assignment, because we all basically have an assignment. You living, you breathing, you're a certain age. Well, then the God upstairs, had a favor on your life to be able to inspire those for inspiration, for elevation. And that's all we want to do is elevate the culture. The culture helps save lives. The culture help us get off the streets, so we don't have to suffer with certain things that we used to. And we need to continue to perpetuate those positive things out there, because when we stay in a rhythm of positivity, there's manifestations on a quantum level that happen. And all we're doing in this physical reality is putting out the energy of peace. Peace of mind is very important to the cause that what we're doing. And it's good that these children or the youth get a chance to look at some of the OGs that are actually leading by example, actually persevered, actually relevant, to let them know, hey, man, this ain't basketball or Achilles. Break your Achilles and it's over with. No, music is eternal, and the assignment of getting justice for the culture, that's eternal. It's a never ongoing battle, it's always persistent because that's the revolution. And I think this is more of a revolution that's going on in these days of time. And we're talking about it. We're pushing the line. We're using these social platforms for something good. You can either use it for something good or for something dangerous. We choose to use these phones and everything else to show that hey, we can come together. But then also, it's an intelligent movement because you cannot win a war without intelligence. When they go in and gather up intelligence inside, they want to pluck somebody in war. The first thing they got to have is intelligence, and we
Mhm.
need more brothers like yourselves and like you and like myself to go ahead and inspire those to go ahead and do something about it because a lot of people don't want to do shit. Maybe they bashful, maybe they this. But hey, we got to take the leadership and continue to stay consistent, and not and not treat it like a one-off. We got
Mhm.
to continue to talk about it. I mean, it's 86,400 seconds in a day. Don't tell me nobody has enough time to talk about these horrible things that are happening to us in the ghettos and around the country and around the world, as far as that's concerned.
Right.
I think that's well said, and a lot of people don't realize, especially the young kings and queens out here, that hip hop as most know it and what they see from, let's call it the influential era, right, over the last 15, 20 years. Once we got out of that golden era, things started to change, right? And a lot of people don't realize that there are principles to the hip hop culture. Specifically the principles that I speak to is the ones that were presented by KRS-One, the teacher's teacher, to the National Museum of Hip Hop in Washington, D.C. That was also presented back in 2021 to the United Nations as a declaration of peace, in hip hop, right? So I know, Cocaine, that you are somebody that understands what those principles are, especially from the era that you came up in. So just in general, knowing what those principles are and seeing what most people know or think they know hip hop to be today as it stands, especially with the new generation of artists coming up, where do you think things kind of started to go sideways with respect to what it started at on Sedgwick Ave in the Bronx, to where it kind of stands as a whole today?
I mean, you have an art form that was, I believe, that was very much divine because it was going to allow, from a conscious point of view, through poetry, that we were going to be able to say things that you normally can't say. I think it was bred for the comedy, and it was bred on being competitive too. Don't get that twisted. If there was no such thing as the DJ, it wouldn't be no such thing as hip hop. Everything that is hip hop started with the DJs because the DJs know how to play certain records. Cool Herc being from Jamaica and Grandmaster Cass and all them, Theodore and all those cats, Curtis Blow. It was a combination of different expressions. You know what I mean? And those combinations came together through the art form of poetry and created hip hop. Now, hip hop was supposed to be based upon, battling, but it was also based upon consciousness, social conscious issues, things that wasn't talked about that now can be talked about through our music and melodies and beats, you know. So anything you have something special that is part of the culture, it don't matter where you're from, it's where you at. It could have been birthed in South Bronx, but then the influences of Ice-T coming over there, bringing records and different things, being from the East Coast, it had an impact. But the impact, we gravitated towards it to tell our side of the story. You know what I mean? So, when hip hop really migrated out, it was the storytelling of those different regions that we might didn't live in New York, but this is how we see it on the West Side. And that's what happened. And we mostly took the approach from KRS-One and Scott LaRock. You got to remember, they were doing some knowledge, but they were dissing too. They were battling. You know what I mean? And then you think about everybody talk about the first gangster rapper. When everything came from New York. We didn't call it gangster rap. We called it reality rap. When you listen to Cool G rap, what you thinking about? Cool G rap, Schoolie D from Philly, they was like the first East Coast gangster rappers. In my eyes. You see what I'm saying? Because they talk their gangster shit. So a lot of things, you know, it ain't where you're from, it's where you're at. And I like the evolution of hip hop because it told a story. Who would dare say fuck the police in the 80s? Who would dare say certain things? So I think we got lost along the way about saying what is real and what ain't. You feel me? Then it started, you know, with the gang banging and different things. It started rubbing into the music, and that's where, you know, it went astray, because we should be able to do a Training Day movie and then do a Malcolm X movie, and they both popular, and they both going to entertain you, and they're both by Denzel Washington. But when the closed curtains happen, that's Denzel Washington. That's neither Malcolm X, or that's neither the guy from Training Day. And I think people took it a little bit too much to the next level as artists. And the big corporate companies capitalize off that death, because there's actually money in death and jail, different programs. So they put a twist on it, and it moved from reality rap, street knowledge, to gangster rap. You know, so now that was out there like that, we had to go through the hula hoops, whether it was pros or cons and anything. And once the internet came in, I really took a page from what Prince was saying about Napster and different other shit. So I think when the internet came in, it ushered something to fuck all the artists even more, sell death even more, and then collect the coins from death and just suffocating the artist royalties and different other shit like that. And those things go to hand in hand. It's just like when you see our music, look at the influence in New York, whether it's good or bad. I've never thought I would see Bloods and Crips in New York at all. Now you go there, it's just like, So it's an exchange, culture exchange, you know, especially coming from the suppression called ghettos, that we all related to each other and we all took something from each other. You see what I'm saying? But now that it's like 52 years golden hip hop, now we want to change the trajectory and reintroduce a balance into music, because music is very influential, to where we want to be able to make a social conscious record and make another record that is actually going to hit people's spirit, as opposed to just, hey, I want to pick up a pistol all the time. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I want to kill 500 brothers on 116 verse. That's unrealistic. Now's the time that we're getting back to when we're starting to put more positive things into the show, to the music again. More positivity are starting to sing from the OGs in shows, because at one time this internet mumble rap and this drugs and all this stuff, they made it to where it was like cool. And where era we come from, it was never cool to use drugs. It was never cool to do certain shit. So I think people are really tired of the gossip versus the authenticity of good music and the authenticity of consciousness in that music. Now it's getting back to that, and everything has to come in cycles, because the definition of repeating the same thing, dealing with the same people, expecting different results is a form of insanity. And we're not insane no more. We're wising up. And for the most part, the youngsters get a chance that are very talented, that are on the front lines of different other assignments as far as justice is concerned. They're now getting a chance to shine because there was muddled up with all the stuff that's one thing I can agree with Donald Trump. It's fake news. It's a lot of fake news out there to make us look bad, continue the division and feeding us subjectively. But no, it's a lot, like the brother said, it's a lot of us waking up and we're doing something about it.
No, I couldn't agree more. And the shift that you're talking about, I think is very much happening right before our eyes. Dooney, I'm going to throw this out to you real quick, and then of course, Kokane, I definitely want your thoughts on it as well. Specifically, I had the pleasure with like 80 other rappers about a week and a half ago to be on a Zoom call with D1. All right, and D1, he said it like this, specifically to what you're talking about with respect to the consciousness, Kokane, that it's okay. The way he put it is, it's okay that we talk about the gun violence, we talk about the drugs, we talk about porn, we talk about whatever we want to talk about from the conscious standpoint, but there's a difference between talking about those types of things and what some individuals grew up in and around, and what they maybe even got conditioned to know at a young age, versus glorifying those same things. There's a line there, right? So Dooney, I'm curious to get what your thoughts are on that, and then Kokane, we're gonna bring that same question and get your thoughts on that as well. Dooney, whenever you're ready, go ahead. I got you off mute. Can you hear us, bro? I know you're in the car. Can you hear us? There you go. We lost your volume, Dooney. How about now? All right, hold those thoughts, Dooney, since we lost your volume. So Kokane, again, just simply, the definition or the difference, excuse me, and your thoughts of talking about those things like gun violence, sex, drugs, whatever it may be, versus the difference of actually glorifying those type of issues. And then Dooney, we're gonna come right back to you.
Yeah, like I said, it goes back to the Malcolm X thing. You can do a Training Day movie, and you could do a Malcolm X movie, but it's entertainment. We got to differentiate entertainment to reality. I know there's a lot of things you can use into the music that's actually talking about something raising the consciousness. But then at the same time, ain't nobody telling nobody to save the Lung Foundation when this is an entertainment business. We're able to use this as a catalyst. Looking back in the day when Harry Belafonte was doing his thing, he was an entertainer, but he used his platform as a catalyst to talk about certain social ills that were going on back then. So whether you flip a burger, whether you have a motorcycle company, whether you have a tech company, whether you're a musician, we all can benefit from using our jobs or anything to reach a broader audience. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times these kids and other people they're telling them stuff to do, they have nothing to relate to. How can some of these kids even go to church when they're not in the right tax bracket? That type of stuff. You know what I mean? So us in the streets, we are your modern day reverends and preachers and elders that can guide a situation. And it's like, a lot of times some people ain't gonna listen to it. It's inevitable to think everybody's gonna listen to it because they're not. But it don't stop us from not like I look at it like we have to knock on doors like Mormons do in the morning on 10 speeds. Even though the door gets shut, they go into 10 more doors. And you got to look at their hustle. This is a hustle. We have to hustle this message out there now. And that's what we're doing now. So I think as far as glorifying it, I mean, I don't glorify none of that. I don't glorify growing up in an abusive home. I don't glorify gang banging. I know the truth, and I rose up. But at the same time, ye cast the first stone without sin. I don't pass my judgment on my brothers. What we're doing is articulating the energy of love to them. So that way, when they see a Kokane or whoever, and they knew I was doing this, they're going to stop and listen to it, because the baddest thing about it is that they don't have nothing to relate to.
Mm-hmm.
So we're opening ourselves up to say, hey, you can relate to this, young brother. These are the things that you can do. It's a better way. Like, I just put out a single. It's on my personal site. It's with me and Ice Cube. It's called Come Up Like Me. And that's basically telling the young homeboys that there's a better way. You don't have to spend your days on, man, I need to find the lick. I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to do that. No, there's a better way. Fall in love with patience, which is the top virtue, and learn things and educate yourself. Put the blunt down for a second. Read a couple tutorials. Really get serious, about what you want to do. And it's something that we all need to do at the end of the day, is just really go back and embrace some of these youngsters and let them know it's all good, man. I was once with you, but I found myself. And, it's much more, many ways to be successful as opposed to getting a sack and putting dope in your hand. I vouch I would never put a pistol and dope in these young kids' hands like I used to do back in the days, because I'm showing them something subjectively. No, I want you to know that, hey, that's not the way. You know what I mean? Whatever man or woman or what you think and what you concentrate on is generally what you manifest. So I a lot of times I talk to the youth. I say, well, where do you see yourself? And some of them want to see themselves like 3 Pac. Well, I was like, it's only one Tupac. Don't be a 3 Pac. You know what I'm saying? Because I gangster guarantee you, if Pac was here, he would want to live, because he'd probably be in politics or something like that. So it empowers the youth to tell them, look, go another way. Don't do what I've done, because you might not be lucky like me. You might not be blessed and fortunate and have favor on your life like I did. And it's like, we got to get them out of the frame of mind that I'm ready to die in my 20s. Mm-hmm. No, we want future before funerals. We don't want you to even have to go that way. So through the ability to stay consistent and keep hammering out, we can make a difference in our lives, in these children's lives. And what I've done as an artist, I've changed a lot of my material around, to be more engulfed in what's going on in modern day times like that. And I think we do have an obligation as artists to evolve as well, so the fans can evolve with us, for those that are, inspired by us. So, this is a beautiful time to be able to not only inspire, but to be a witness as an OG on a lot of these youngsters that's starting to think different now.
Nah, I can very much appreciate that. We got Suave. We got Suave in the comments saying, speak on it, Coca, speak on it, Sandbox. Dooney, what are your thoughts on that as well? Because you're very much doing something like Kokane was just talking about there, as far as being a mentor to the youth. You're literally doing something right now, which is why you're not at home as you usually are this morning. So definitely your thoughts on like the glorification versus speaking on certain things from a conscious standpoint, and just, things that you feel have worked from your mentorship to the young kings and queens that you work with. I mean, you spent 30 plus years in the monastery yourself, bro. So it's something that you could very much speak to, that redemption piece of what Kokane was speaking to as well.
Well, I mean, we were them. Our greatest advantage is we were them young men. We knew what we wanted and what we didn't get. So we know what they need, man. We just got to step up and have that courage, bro, and care enough to step up and be there, be present for them. Because the problem is us not being present.
Right.
And their anger is their fathers and us uncles and big brothers and all them wasn't present, right? So they was raised by their mothers, but we have to step back out. They always want that love.
Mm-hmm.
Them young boys ain't gonna never not want that love. I want it still, and I'm 55. You know what I'm
There you
saying?
go.
It's something that made in us that we need, right? But like he was saying, man, we have to take it more personal. And I love what he said. It's like kind of like the Mormons and Jehovah Witnesses knock on the door. We like really got to knock on these doors and start having these conversations, man. Otherwise, like a lot of kids gonna get lost.
Mhm.
And no, we can't save them all, but we gonna get that one that'll save that other one that we couldn't save because he might have heard him, he didn't hear us. But that don't stop us from planting our seed.
Yep.
You know what I
There you
mean? We can plant seeds throughout the whole earth, man, and somebody else come order it. We did our
go.
part,
Mhm.
right?
True.
It's just time, like he's saying, for us to do it. And I'm so proud of our young life. They totally on a total different page, and they ready to do something different. You know.
Mhm.
Where you going?
And I think something that's important there, and Cocaine, I want to get your thoughts on this, and we'll bring back to Dooney. Talking about basically planting seeds around the world, right? What are your thoughts to people who? Because let's be real, everybody's psyche is different. Some people want that instant gratification of whatever it might be, right? And in this case, it's kind of like the reach one, teach one type of deal. But sometimes people don't understand that you might have to plant that seed to a tree for the shade that you're never going to see, right?
Right.
What advice would you offer to anybody who wants that instant gratification, who's looking to make a positive change, but they might not just see it as immediately as they hope, with respect to what Dooney was talking on that there. Cocaine, we're gonna let you speak on that first, and then Dooney, we're gonna bring it right to you, bro.
Goes back to what the brother said. You got to have courage. Everybody trying out for the NBA don't mean they're gonna get on the basketball court. You have to have courage. You got to have more courage than actually gang banging and avoid bullets, because it's so easy to do the evil thing, but it's hard to do the right thing. You got to have real courage in order to walk in these shoes and get ostracized, get stones thrown at you. You got to have courage. And when you've been through it and you've been battle tested, those people really tend to look past, things of that are in the shadows, and they turn towards the light. They go on a trajectory up in their mind state and everything else. So I think your attitude determines your altitude. We have to change the attitude from some of our youngsters and even from some of our OGs. But then there's always something in the equation that's always doing that, and that's the Most High. I believe the Most High, when he really gets into plans and goals, he can do some supernatural things through you and for who is for. I think not only the love part, but when they took God out of school, a lot of things was going crazy. You know what I mean? God has a lot to do with it. Whatever religion you are is what you are, but there is a higher power that is
Mm-hmm.
this equation. And those things, I don't care if you went to jail, you went to this, you went to that. Man, God got his hands on the people that were mostly suppressed, not the people in fine garments and in fancy politician suits. No, God rests in the assembly of pain and struggle, and he's with us. So if I know, despite of what the world is going through, the Most High is with me, who can stand against you? Because this is flesh. A lot of times we're not fighting against anything else but flesh and blood, against principalities of darkness and wickedness in heavenly places. So it's spiritual, brother. But fighting is fleshly. And we got to be able to also not only put out the importance of economic independence, but we also have to put out the importance of spirituality, because that's how we invite love in our heart. And the biggest thing in the world is to be authentically yourself and love. That's the highest vibrations. You feel what I'm saying? Along with patience. So this conversation that we're putting out there to articulate to your audience is simply based upon LOVE. I think if we start to talk to each other with respect more, That's Usher and LOV. So a lot of times I see brothers, I don't talk the way I used to talk. Hey, cuz, we do good, good. No, I just call them king. We have to change the scenario around so people can adapt in the most positive fashion to thinking positive and remove themselves from thinking negative and written negative things in their mind. You know, it's guilty by association. So if I want to associate, if young kids want to associate themselves with cocaine, this is what I'm about. I'm a family man, first of all. Raised 8 babies. Secondly, you know what I mean? I'm a big pillar in my community. These are the things that now the youngsters can relate to because of things that I've done in the past they may have been inspired on, but now it's a different inspiration. Now it's a different gangster. The new gangster is taking care of your family, handling your business, putting the guns down, doing something that's totally 190. And that's what we're here for. We're used instrumentally in getting that message across for people that simply don't have a voice and need this type of inspiration.
Man, speak on it. And it's very apropos that you said what the new definition of gangsta is, because that is literally how I met my brother right there, Dooney. That is literally he had said something on a podcast that I came across, and that man, what he said it damn near exactly how you did right there. Gangsters taking care of your family, keeping that roof over their head, food on the table, keeping them out of harm's way from the things that you could control. So I really very much appreciate that. Dooney, anything you want to add? Anything that you want to add there, real quick?
Man, you know, like when I said we the same all over the world, bro. When my bro said I ain't gotta run that back, you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying?
It's
It's just good to see. Like I believe I'm a believer in my people. I have hope. I have faith in my people, man. I talk to a lot of people, so I don't have the closed mind. I see the wheels turning. I see the growth. I see the maturity. But what, like he said, we got to put God back in our music. We got to put love back. Even though it was rap and it was that, we still had God, which brought us hope, which gave us faith. We functioning on like we just existing. We're not living. We're not living in faith. We're not living in with hope. We're not living in love. We're not living in all those things. And that's what music reminded us of. Just like the music with the kids reminded us of shooting right now. We need to put that love and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And God
yeah,
back in that music to remind our kids what that is about, bro. Because that's what our kids is missing. They're missing God and love, bro.
yep. Bingo, bingo. And that's what if they can see you do it, you do it. They can see a VP Churchill do it,
Mm-hmm.
Gangster T, Ice T. I mean, we live in examples that hey, you can
Mm-hmm.
turn your life around, but the power of your choice will explain your whole life. It's the
Mm-hmm.
choices. Everybody got choices, like E40 said. You got to choose wisely. And there's time to change the road you're on, but you're gonna run out of blessings on keeping you out of jail, man. The best way is to be a prisoner of intelligence, be a prisoner of
Mm-hmm.
discipline, because you got to discipline yourself. Unfortunately, a lot of brothers ain't disciplined, but it still keeps me optimistic about where we're going into the
Mm-hmm.
future. There's
Yeah.
pros and cons and everything, but I
Mm-hmm.
like to take the high road and the grass is greener on the other side approach because it's something about when you put that in your psyche and you put that in your mind, the probability is more in your favor to manifest those good things as opposed to a meteor coming down. You can't do shit about it. You know, what a man think and what your action is who you are. And
As a man
unfortunately,
thinker.
a lot of these brothers and sisters simply don't know who they are.
As
So
a
we
man
here to
thinker. We'll see.
remind them with intelligence that we have and determination and ambition as well, because I'm very ambitious, man, to see how the youth is changing. Um, primarily with my own kids, young adults, that excites me. Like what we're doing is bringing excitement so people can be excited about change. It's not your typical, well, what am I do? No, it's exciting to change. I tell people all the time, when I was going through my hardships, I was in a dark space. But the moment I started making pivots and different things like that, it was worth putting away something to gain something. So you got to make those sacrifices. You know what I'm saying? Look, I'll use Denzel Washington. He was a trash picker. He picked up trash. He could have went out and sold dope and did that, but he took the legal way, and he became one of the biggest actors of our times, Denzel Washington. But he picked trash. So don't be embarrassed if you have to get a regular job and different other things, because you should value your freedom. And that's what we want to put out there. Not only just to put down the guns, but value your freedom. Value the fact that, hey, if you put the guns down, you can hypothetically might won't go to jail. You know what I'm saying? And different things. And we just got to change the mentality. And that's what we're doing now, changing the attitude of our young brothers and sisters mental, because your attitude really determines your altitude. We want them on a trajectory in their mental.
And I think that's important too, talking about, that analogy of, picking up garbage. I think one thing that's lost is just overall respect in general, right? There's saying out there that, you should be treating, that janitor or that garbage person, as you were talking about right now, the same way that you would treat the CEO and everybody in between. Because at the end of the day, we're all human beings. We all foundationally have the same care, as y'all both were speaking about the need for love, the need for a hug, the need for some kind of purpose. And if we're not treating each other as just a foundational human being, then what are we doing out here? So from a respect standpoint in general, what are both of your thoughts on just like that, that analogy that we should be treating the janitor the same that we treat the CEO and everybody in between?
I mean, my take on it is, I try not to like Mike. I do anything. I'll pick up dog shit, cat shit, bro. I don't have foolish pride, right? Foolish pride is I can't go and make a quarter. I can't go make $1. I gotta make 20. Or I gotta make 50. I gotta sell drugs. Nah, bro. I got pride in who I am, and I'm gonna stay free, bro. We gotta teach our loved ones to love themselves more than they love money or things. Right now, they putting things before themselves, right? Because if you love yourself, I did 30 years in prison, and there's no damn way I can say I love myself, put myself in that situation, bro. There's no possible way I can say I love myself, sending myself to prison, bro. Which meant I was in prison, like he said. I was already in prison before I went, because prison is of the mind. It's the way you think. It's your thoughts, right? Prison is not a physical thing. So when you change the way you think, you can change your outcome and you change your circumstances, right? So I had to change the way I think in order for me not to be in prison, in order for me to be free. And it's like I'll be an example, bro. I talked to a brother today, man. I wrote a message on Facebook. And thank brothers that took time out their life to come visit us in prison and play sports with us, bro. They didn't have to. Right? And then I was like, man, I really appreciate you. He said, bro, I appreciate you for doing everything that you told me you was when you got out and more.
Right.
I was like, bro, like I have to. I don't have no choice, bro. I gotta be an example. I was the one that fucked up, so now I gotta let the youngsters see what it's like to straighten that up. I have to be there. They can see it's possible. I can't fail them. I can't go back. I can't do the bozo. They're watching me, bro. Your 8 kids is watching me. Everybody's watching me. I can't fail them. We on clock 24 hours a day, brother. Right?
Right.
Anytime, there's 1 second it takes for us to see some stuff that change the way we do something, because we saw some stuff that people didn't think we saw.
Yeah.
And we mimicked it.
Yeah.
So we have to be
Real
we on 24 hours a day, man. And we can't take a day off, being that example and that mentor to our people, even to our older brothers. We have to be mentors to them too, bro. We all been through it. We all sick. We all been, we all been bamboozled, hoodwinked, led astray, ran amok.
Yeah, real talk.
We waking up, bro. We waking up, man, as a people, and I'm my heart is happy for that, bro.
Yeah, we just continue to stay consistent, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we all do. Put the guns down. It's not a one-off. It's a movement, and we're staying consistent with it. And it's just anytime I need to dive in, y'all just tell me where I need to dive in. And it's an honor to be able to fellowship with you gentlemen, because this is a classy movement. This is a real movement that's needed, but it's a classy movement. It's showing people that we do care, from the OGs, and you're hearing from the youngsters too. I mean, it's a well put together docu-series for the world. You know what I mean? And I'm just happy to be a part of it. I think this is a testimony that people need to hear. And it shows that, hey, we can, no matter what, how much money you think you make out, that's not important. The most important thing is taking your time and being able to use that to be able to reach these children or reach somebody off the edge, man, and talk them down off the edge, because it's suicide and all kind of other things that are attached to this too with putting the guns down. So many suicides didn't happen since the COVID virus thing didn't happen. So, it's time, but, what's in the equation is the Most High. We have an assignment, and we're on our assignment. And I think, it's going to really help catapult this message, because we have the ability to stay consistent in the message. You know what I mean?
Yes, no, it's very true. And Suave, in the comments said, imagine if somebody like our brother Monster Yo, free Monster Yo, by the way, free Jay Burton, free Prentice Banks. Like, enough is enough, people. And for those of you watching out here that are not familiar with Monster Yo, this is an individual who has been, like Dooney was, 30 years behind confinement of walls. Monster Yo is at a point where it's a mindset, right? He's not in prison. That's not, and he's published or helped get published 16 books. He has created a suicide hotline that is now tied in directly to the national 988 suicide hotline. This is an individual who has made music with a lot of people that we know. So just imagine, if somebody like that, can do what he's doing from the confinements that the society has put him in. What do you feel the possibilities are when he does get out? And I know he's got some things working in the background right now. But what are your thoughts on somebody like that with respect to his redemption story that he's been on, Kokane?
Oh, he's an incredible individual, man. He's a Pisces. I'm a Pisces.
So am I. You're the 10th. I'm the 13th. He's the 18th, if I remember correctly. So salute, bro.
16th better, can't get no better under any type of weather. Monster is a good individual, good spirit, real individual. And he done shared a lot of ideas with me that I know is going to prosper. I know he borrowed that out of heaven. He's going to do some good things, man, because with great power comes even more of a greater responsibility.
Yes.
You can do it the wrong way, and we done seen that countless times on the West Coast. Or you can really, really get on your assignment. And I know once you get out, the money is there, but the money don't make you. And that's what I like about him. He got major resources. He got already bred it, but it don't make him. What makes him is being able to do something for his people and reaching out to good people that want to think about prosperity and peace and actually mobilizing things for our community, whether it's through fundraising and different other social things like that. But I know once he get out, the man is going to do some incredible things. And watch this, I'm right there rocking with him to make sure he do some incredible things.
No, we can't wait for that day. Last I talked to him, because I know he's going back up, where he was before he went down to county. I last talked to him probably about 3 weeks ago or so on the phone for like it was like a good hour. One thing that he always reminds me of, and I want to share on his behalf, is, very much to what we've been speaking on as a whole collectively, today is, the path is already laid for us. The creator, the higher power, God, whoever it is that anybody believes out there in the higher power above you, the path is already laid. Whatever is coming to you from what you were just talking about, Kokane, you just got to walk to it. And that's a saying that he always shares with me when we talk, that always sits with me. Because there are going to be challenges. When you were talking about, the greater responsibility that comes with paving the way and trying to do things that people, whether they're scared to be able to try and do from that, that outcast standpoint, or they just might not feel the internal power that they have, doing those things that other people are not willing to do. It comes with a great responsibility, and you got to be strong in mind, body, and spirit to be able to do that. So, big shout out to Monster Yo. I'm looking forward to the next conversation that I get to have with him, because you're right. That man is a vessel sent from heaven, bro. He really is. And we need individuals like Terry just said he talked to him yesterday. He's in great spirits, and he sends his love to the entire team. So Monster Yo, bro, we're sending that vibe and that love right back to you, bro. Nothing but love and respect. And we're looking forward to that conversation. Because you could prosper in that redemption story. Dooney, you're living proof of that, bro. Anything that you want to share, as far as, once you got that I don't want to call it the freedom of, because it's the mindset with you, but when you were allowed to, leave the confinement that you were in to then bring your mind, body, and spirit out into the actual world, what is your advice to anybody that has been or is currently in, the scenario that you once found yourself again? I mean, you picked up somebody that literally have just left that same confinement as we were starting this live cast, bro. Literally 39 years.
That's my job.
What are your
bro.
thoughts? What are your thoughts on that?
Like I said, like what I know about Yo, he already free. He just need to get his body where his heart and his mind and his spirit is. It's frustrating because it's like your mind is beyond these walls, and you get your physical there. And these people that's holding you, you know what you are and what you bring to the world, and so does so many other people, but yet they still hold you. Right? It's frustrating as hell, but when you have faith, he's already free. He's already walking out the door. God can only give you what you create in your mind, right? Whatever you foresee in your mind, God is all knowing. So he lay out and he makes possible everything that you see in your mind, good, bad, or ugly. So I see him walking out that gate and finding his peace, and that his body is free, because he's already free, bro. It's people that's in there in prison.
Right.
It really hurts when you know you've changed and you're ready to go out there and help your people and you can't. That's what hurts. But I see it happening for him, bro. Like God don't make mistakes, and he don't take days off, bro. And when you touch people the way he's touching people, bro, I'll say this one more time. I say, Matt Mandela went to prison for 27 years, right? And they praised him when he got back out. But we got thousands of Mandelas locked inside these prisons, right? We have thousands of them, and they're going to come back out to their community because God has sit there to grow. Like me, I can't be mad about 30 days. Not one day I did out of them 30 years in prison, bro. You'll never complain about that because I love who I became. And that's what made me be right here on this podcast right now, is because of where I came from and what I want to see going forward, bro.
Right.
And I look forward to, I haven't met a Monster Yo yet, but I sure look forward to meeting that brother, man. And connecting like that. You as well, Kane. We gotta bridge these gaps in between the cities in California and abroad, bro. LA needs to know they're not by themselves. SAC needs to know that they not by themselves. All these places needs to know that they by themselves. They're not by themselves, bro. Things happen in the city and towns, and they believe that that's all. Nah, if we start converging, just like Monster Yo, if we all start a campaign for him to write to the courts, to flood the court, to flood the board, to flood whoever from all states, bro, they'll be forced to let him go. It's the squeaky wheel. It's the squeaky wheel. The car that's going to get the squeak, the wheel that's going to get the oil is the squeaky wheel. We have to make noise so they don't want to hear him, because if they hear him squeak and they don't do nothing, they're going to have to do something for all four tires. Right. So we gotta be that oil for my Yo, bro.
That's right. Show you.
I know I did it.
Oh yeah.
They didn't let me go because they wanted.
And then my brother go too, man.
Out, bro. Huh?
My brother did 31 years. My brother did 31 years, 11,200 days. He got out, and God has been merciful, man. I'm telling you.
Come on, man.
God is merciful.
God soldiers, man.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I gotta take care of something.
Nah, I was just gonna say, any final thoughts that you wanted to share? We appreciate the time, bro. On behalf of myself, Dooney, of course, everybody outside with us. Any final thoughts that you want to leave with the people before you get back to your regularly scheduled Saturday?
Let's just keep going, y'all. You know what I mean? Hope is cool. I like hope, but hope is for Bob. We need doers. Turn that hope into doing, and continue to help us on this crusade, on this fellowship to combat some of the gun violence that our brothers need to do. And not only the brothers and sisters too, across the board, we need more healthy conversations. So I pray for more healthy conversations like these. So that way, you know what I mean, we can follow our assignment and be a puzzle piece on helping people. We can't be the whole puzzle, but we can be a cornerstone piece to help people. And cornerstone pieces are powerful. You know what I mean? So that is my prayer for the people that are listening, is that continue to have the courage, continue to get up and feel good about helping people, especially our culture, because they desperately need it. We need it too. Even though we have endured and persevered, we still need that connection on bringing our people back up. You know what I mean? So I encourage everybody to stick to the mission, stick to the script, and you will, one person at a time, can make a big ass difference. And that's what we're doing now. It's bigger than just rapping. It's bigger than just entertainment business. This is real life shit. So I want to give a shout out to Terry, my Sandbox, the whole team. I want to give out a shout out to my big bro Ice-T. Give a shout out to anybody that is really helping with this crusade, because that's how it's going to grow. And we're here in growth. Everything is about growth. I know Terry started that a while back, and we're right here. So it's according to a season for the right reason. We all going to continue to push this lane right here, put the guns down.
Nah, we appreciate the time, the insights, the conversations. Ladies and gentlemen, the legendary Kokane. My brother, appreciate you, King. You have a good day. We'll get at it again.
You too, man. And make sure y'all go pick up my album.
Yes.
Go pick up this
Damn
album.
right.
Well, the one I got, Come Up Like Me, featuring Ice Cube. You can only get that exclusively on my site at www.budboymusic.com.
We are going to drop that in the comments and make sure that we're sharing that out on the platform, King. So say less. We got you. We're here to love and support all the family members outside, bro. So
Yes,
thank
sir.
you.
Thank you,
Appreciate
John.
you.
Thank you, Mike P. Shout out to the team.
All love.
Great to put where it ain't,
Let's
man.
just keep-
So let's go.
Yes, sir. You have a good rest of the weekend, bro. We'll talk to you soon.
You too, family.
Appreciate
Peace
you.
out. One.
Yes, sir. Well, I got you. We'll get you off here.
Okay.
We're still live. I'm gonna mute you, and then boom. All right. Dooney.
It's all good, man. We in Denny's now. Finna treat the
No,
brother to-
I ain't even gonna hold you too long, bro. I just wanted to say thank you as always, bro. I'm gonna let you get back to your regular schedule of day. Again, big salute and love. Please do, bro. And again, send our love from everybody out here on the outside to that king that you just brought home today, bro. And give my love to sis. Give her a big hug for me, bro. My brother.